I love to travel, but one of the places I've always wanted to visit but never gotten around to it is New York City. With such a big city that has a long storied history, it shouldn't be a surprise that some hauntings have creeped up over the years. Let's look at one of the city's well known ghost hangouts, the House of Death. The place known as the House of Death is actually a 4-story, 10-unit apartment building that sits at 14 West 10th Street in the neighborhood of Greenwich Village. From everything I've seen, it seems like a pretty good place to live. The website forrent.com gives it a walk score of 99, a transit score of 100, and a bike score of 94. It's also less than a mile from NYU, Washington Square Park, and Fifth Avenue. Unsurprisingly, there are no available units right now. Some sources said the house was built in 1900, but most said it was built in the 1850s. In 1900, the house welcomed arguably its most famous resident, author Mark Twain. Twain only lived in the house for a year and didn't die until almost a decade later in an entirely different state, but apparently he likes to linger in his old New York residence even after death. The first reported occurrence of Twain's ghost happened in the 1930s, where he not only appeared to the house's residents, but even talked to them. One of the residents claimed the ghost identified himself as Clemens, presumably referring to Twain's real name, Samuel Clemens. Ever since, Twain has been spotted walking around on the first floor and near the staircase, wearing a white coat. According to UntappedCities.com, the building was converted from a single-family home into an apartment building in 1937 because of growing demand for housing in the city. In 1957, former actress Jan Bryant Bartell and her husband moved into the top floor apartment, which used to be servants' quarters. It didn't take long for strange happenings to begin. Bartell claimed a monstrous shadow would follow her around the house. She would feel something brush against the back of her neck even when her hair was up, smell strange rotting smells, and hear footsteps following her upstairs, I assume when her husband wasn't around. The family dog would growl at a certain chair, furniture would move seemingly on its own, and other strange shadows were spotted. At one point, Bartell claimed to see a shriveled up grape show up on a dinner plate, even though there were no grapes in the house at the time. Bartell wanted to leave just a few weeks into living there, but the housing shortage prevented the couple from doing so. They ended up hiring a medium who told them the house was haunted by 22 spirits. The medium tried to help, but apparently became possessed by a spirit who refused to leave. Fortunately, the couple was able to find other housing shortly after this. In 1974, Bartell finished writing Spindrift, Spray from a Psychic Sea, which detailed the goings-on she experienced in the apartment. Just a few weeks later, she died under what the New York Post referred to as mysterious circumstances. Her book is pretty pricey today, even used, but I will put a link to it below if you still want to check it out. It's also worth noting that, according to UntappedCities.com, Bartell also lived just down the road at 16 West 10th Street for a while, where she also reported experiencing paranormal activity. Either she had an affinity for attracting ghosts, or there was something else going on that had nothing to do with the paranormal. But the most horrific thing to happen in the building involved a man named Joel Steinberg. Steinberg lived in the building in the 1980s with his girlfriend Hedda Nussbaum and their 2 adopted children, 6-year-old Lisa and 18-month-old Mitchell. On the night of November 1st, 1987, Steinberg, in a cocaine-fueled rage, beat 6-year-old Lisa to the point of unconsciousness. Then he went out with his friends. Nussbaum found Lisa still unconscious on the bathroom floor around 6:30 the next morning and called the police. When she answered the door to let them in, she had a bruised face and a split lip. Police also found baby Mitchell tied to his playpen and covered in dirt and urine. Lisa was rushed to the hospital but died 3 days later. Steinberg was convicted of first-degree manslaughter and given the maximum sentence of 25 years. He was released on parole in 2004 after serving 16 years of his sentence. It was eventually discovered that the children had been illegally adopted. Steinberg had never formally filed adoption papers. After the investigation, Mitchell was returned to his biological mother. The case also increased the number of child abuse hotlines across the country. After Lisa's murder, residents claimed the hauntings slowed down quite a bit. On an entry on the blog Daytonian in Manhattan, someone in the comments section named Jason claimed he once went to a Halloween party in the Steinbergs' old apartment. The owners reportedly believed the place was haunted, saying the bathroom where Lisa was found would be unusually cold at times. The only other related report I found was a claim that the lights flicker on and off at strange times on the floor the Steinbergs lived on. But the hauntings never fully stopped and seemingly continue to this day. One other ghost who's been spotted is a woman in a long flowing gown. In one New York Post story, a musician/photographer resident named Dennis was interviewed. He claimed he was photographing a woman in his apartment one night, left the room for a second, and when he came back, the woman claimed she had seen this ghost. Dennis also claimed to have owned 10 different copies of Bartell's book, Spindrift. They kept disappearing, so he had to keep buying new ones. Either the House of Death ghosts really like to read or don't want people to know Bartell's story, or Dennis is even worse at losing things than I am. Other reports include a gray cat, a young child, and a faceless man. So are there really 22 ghosts haunting the place, as Bartell's medium claimed? It's never been confirmed that 22 people died in the building, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. In the previously mentioned blog entry on Daytonian in Manhattan, blogger Tom Miller writes, "A score of residents died over the course of 160 years in any residence would be expected, especially considering that wealthy Victorians and Edwardians normally received medical treatment at home rather than a hospital." So that's all I have for you today on New York City's House of Death. If you've ever been there and have experienced anything unusual, or even if you haven't done either of these things, I would love to know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and share it. And for more dark content, I hope you'll consider subscribing and hitting that bell. Thanks for watching and have a creepy day. Bye guys.